95.3 WBCK now presents Coach's Corner, live from Lakeview Ford. For over 6 decades, this has been your number one source for all local sports information. Coach's Corner is proudly presented by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now, here's your host, Bill Broderick.
Bill Broderick without the Enquirer in the big chair once again on WBCK for Coach's Corner in downtown Battle Creek at Lakeview Ford on the Motor Mile. For more than 6 decades, Coach's Corner has been talking to city high school coaches about the week in sports, and we will continue that as we head into another week of the boys basketball season with our first Coach of the Morning. But first, here's the Lakeview Ford Coach's Corner scoreboard. Among the city games, a couple of early week games on Monday. Harper Creek went out of conference and beat Vicksburg 58-53. Battle Creek Central had a makeup game and lost to St. Joe 67-38. In the regular Tuesday action, Penfield also went out of conference and earned a win over Pawpaw 38-35. Lakeview lost in the final minutes to Matawan 64-63 in a heartbreaker. Porter Central beat Battle Creek Central 66-24. And St. Phil beat Jackson Christian 68-33. Some teams got an early start to the weekend with Thursday action in the SMAC. Lakeview lost a nail-biter to the first-place team in the SMAC West, Portage Central 55-53. Gull Lake ended a 6-game losing streak and beat Battle Creek Central 53-43. And Mendon got a little bit of revenge after losing to St. Phil earlier in the year, and Mendon beat St. Phil this time around 57-50. Last night in Friday's game, in our Enquirer game of the week, Penfield held on in the fourth quarter and beat rival Marshall 43-40 at Marshall. Also in Interstate 8 conference play, Harbor Creek beat Hastings 63-48. We'll be back with our first Coach of the Morning after this break on 95.3 FM WBCK.
Coach's Corner on WBCK, brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now back to the show.
Bill Broderick of the Battle Creek Enquirer back on Coach's Corner. We're here with our first Coach of the Morning, Coach Burns at Penfield. How's it going, Coach?
Good, doing well this morning, Bill.
Penfield had a couple of wins this week, and that had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's last night in the locker room. It's been a while since December where we can say we had a successful full week. So yeah, it was nice to get both of them this week.
Started out with a non-conference game against Pawpaw. You beat Pawpaw 38-35, and in that game, you had Deshaun Boykins had 16 points and 12 rebounds. Jonathan Lake had 9 points and 8 rebounds. Brevin Bailey stayed consistent. He had 9 points and 5 rebounds. Going out of conference, getting that win. You talked a little bit last night as we chatted, saying it wasn't pretty, but it was a game you kind of grinded out, and it showed some growth with your team, I think is what you said.
Yeah, yep. Pawpaw's not very big, so we thought we would be able to take advantage of some athleticism and size, and so Deshaun really stepped up. I think of his 12 rebounds, I think probably 6 of them were offensive rebounds. To where, he's a guy that's pretty athletic and get off the floor quickly, and we've been waiting for him to kind of be assertive and aggressive. And I think we've seen that side of him over the last week and a half or so, 2 weeks, to where I think he's, a senior, kind of realizing maybe season's winding down and he's got a little bit more to give. So had a real great night Tuesday night with him. And then, they're a good defensive team. Again, not big, but well disciplined defensively. So yeah, it was just a grind out affair. We found ways to kind of execute down the stretch and got that close one Tuesday.
That set up the big game that people kind of were looking forward to this week in our Enquirer game of the week. Penfield went over to Marshall. First time around in December, Marshall got you guys at your place. So you're coming over to Marshall looking to try to get the same thing going for your way, and you win 43-40. It was a game that looked a lot like a lot of your games early in the year where you led early and maybe led in the third quarter and then kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop in the fourth quarter, and never did. You guys didn't lose the lead, and it went into the fourth quarter even, got up, and then stayed up, and you had to like how that kind of game and that kind of fourth quarter effort was what you've been waiting for a long time, and they came out with a win.
Yeah, our guys really grew up, last night. Took a couple steps, Tuesday night. Even though we lost against Parma last Friday, I thought, played well last week. And so the guys have had a good week of preparation, combined then now with 2 successful outings on Tuesday night and the last night. But last night I think they really took that step forward, grew up. Senior night there was a good crowd atmosphere. And made plays. Was in it the whole game, close fought, back and forth. Had control pretty much, most of the first half. A little bit of the lead there in the third quarter, and then they went to their, they like running out a 3-2 kind of a half-court trap, and gave us a little bit of fits for a couple minutes, but regrouped and made plays in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you guys had a little 7-1 run at the end of the first half and went up 25-19 at halftime. And then things were looking pretty good there. And then that zone, they were able to get some deflections, and some of those turnovers that have been hampering you guys early in the year kind of reared its ugly head. There was a stretch of 4 possessions with 4 turnovers for you. And they were able to go on a 9-0 run and were able to go into the fourth quarter 34-34. But, boy, look at your guys and then seeing that after that happened, their heads didn't drop. They were ready to play that fourth quarter and came up big and made the winning plays, like you said. Marshall had a couple situations late in that game where they could have got a turnover and gone ahead bucket or had some free throws, and you guys held off and made the right plays to win. You had Brevin Bailey again had 10 points and 6 assists. Boykins had 8 points. And our boy Calvin, who reminded me how to say his name last night. I said, if you score big in the game, we'll say your name correctly. Remind me how we say his last name there.
Yeah, so it's Calvin Paysons.
Yeah, I said, you score 30 points, I'll remember your name and more often. But he had a big game last night and had a big 3 in the first half and played well. And Calvin Paysons played well for you. And that had to be a great win for you for Penfield at Marshall. And it really sets up this late stretch where you have some confidence going forward. Is that right?
It does, yeah. The guys didn't blink. Now we still gave Marshall plenty of opportunities to take it if they wanted it. So there's still definitely some things. But yeah, the guys stayed locked in. We knew it was going to be, if we did our part, it was going to be a defensive, low-scoring game. And, when they made that run in the third quarter, responded. Zach Walling hit a huge 3 there in the third. Day hit one as well, and then of course Brevin made the big play at the end to get us the lead over the hump. Isaiah Adams came off the bench and gave us crucial minutes and some points in the second half as well. So, well-rounded, good all-around effort from the guys. Sets us up for this week, and we told them everything needs to start snowballing. Back up the performances with another couple of the days of practice. Harper's going to present a different challenge for us. Their pressure, their frenetic style and pace, we don't handle that stuff very well. So we've got to be able to regroup and come together with a point of attack and to be able to execute on Tuesday.
Yeah, we pointed out in the Enquirer this morning that was a pretty play by Brevin Bailey there with about a minute and a half left where he had to make a play. He beat his man off the dribble and had a leaning in there and kissed the ball off the glass and had a nice banker there to go up and put you guys up 3 and you really didn't lose the lead after that. And also, you guys played well in the paint throughout the game, I thought, and had a little bit to do with Marshall without their big man, Austin Miller, who's their leading scorer and leading rebounder. He injured himself in Tuesday's game and didn't dress last night. Did you guys see that? Maybe want to go inside a little bit last night?
Yeah. And then, with both Austin Burns and Miller, they're long, don't have a lot of size to them, but they're long. And so with one of them out, it does make them a lot smaller overall. Xavion Russ is a good size, good defender. But we did feel that there could be some match up that we could exploit. Johnny got down there a couple times in the first half, finished. We were able to isolate Brevin a little bit more on the block last night. So, we did want to try to get to that block. And the other thing with fourth quarter too is we're sitting in the timeout break between quarters, and guys wanted to go zone, and we really haven't been playing much zone just because, truthfully, we've been lazy in it, and so hesitant. But they were all for it, and I said, well, all right, well then we'll see what goes. And they responded. They rebounded well, they communicated well, and switching to that zone in the fourth, I think, changed things a little bit too.
And like you were mentioning before, you have a big week coming up. You play city rival Harper Creek on Tuesday. It's at Harper Creek, I think, right?
Yeah, yep.
And then come back and play.
Unless they're willing to give us another home game.
Yeah, that's right. Playing at Coldwater later in the week. And that's a couple of games. Harper Creek was a fun game the first time. You guys had a little trouble with their pressure, like you mentioned, and that's something you have to kind of get ready for next time around. But that's a game that everyone kind of gets up for, and it has to be a game the kids are excited for. Is that right?
Yeah, yep, yeah. Well, you told them to enjoy last night, today, and we'll get back to work tomorrow. And it just came out. We got to take care of the ball. We felt in the second half, first time we played them even when we took care of the ball. First half we didn't, and we were down 20. So we got to be able to find a way to take care of the ball and be able to execute against the pressure.
We'll look forward to talking about Penfield basketball again next week. Coach, as you come on down here, thanks for coming on down. We'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning here on WBCK 95.3.
Thanks, Bill.
Coach's Corner on 95.3 WBCK. Proudly brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Here's Coach's Corner.
This is Bill Broderick back in Coach's Corner here with our next Coach of the Morning. We're here with Coach Matt Bowling of the Harper Creek Beavers. How's it going, Coach?
Good. Good morning, Bill.
We had Harper Creek playing a couple times this week. You got an early start to the week and played on Monday. Out of conference, you played Vicksburg. You came away with a 58-53 win. Dylan Eversole led the way with 13 points. And you had a well-rounded, well-balanced offense after that. Braxton List, Braden Best, Traquan Cotton all had 9 points. This is a good way to start the week. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a nice way to start on a Monday. So I was very pleased with the way we played. We forced 28 turnovers in that game, and Vicksburg has some size, and we were outsized in that game. And it was kind of a game of runs. We ended up with the last run there at the end. It was kind of back and forth affair. And we did a nice job to pull the thing out and take care of the basketball and get the tempo we wanted and handle their size and pull it out in the fourth quarter down the stretch.
It's not a team you see a lot. Vicksburg out of conference there. But the scouting report kind of told you that you guys could use your press, or did you kind of throw it out there early and see how it was going to work?
Well, we had to use it. I mean, there was no way around it. Plus, that's just how we play now. Just it's part of what we do. And we didn't want to play a slow down, pound at half court game. And we got tempo and got the kind of game that we wanted that's advantageous for us.
A lot of runouts in that game, a lot of deflections, and getting some easy baskets. That looked like maybe a lot of well-balanced offense, a lot of guys getting the ball and maybe going up for layups and contributing that way. Right?
Yeah, we normally have a lot of guys score, and that's exactly kind of how it goes. We find guys in different positions, and then we have a lot of kids who are capable shooters who we could play a little inside out with too as well. So that night we definitely got a lot of runouts and deflections and got a lot of guys some good looks that night.
Went back in conference last night playing Hastings, and you win your third game in the last 4 outings, so the young group that you have are coming together at the right time a little bit, and you guys are 6-12 now on the season, and you got a win over Hastings, 63-48. Braxton List had one of his better games of the year with 21 points. Braden Best showed up in the scoring column again with 13, and that's a team against Hastings that struggled a little bit, but you guys wanted to kind of take advantage of that early and get on them early. Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of an interesting first quarter. We had a lot of good looks that just didn't fall. We played kind of an even quarter, so to speak, and then we kind of opened things up a little bit and got a little more breathing room in the second. And using our pressure and our ability to get out and run, that was kind of how that game went. our inability to finish and capitalize at the free throw line kind of hurt us in the first half, along with, we played hard last night. Thought the kids played real hard. We played hard all week, but we didn't necessarily shoot the ball very well last night. Braxton did individually, but as the rest of us as a group, we left some points out there where we could have capitalized and pushed that thing out a little hard or a little higher, a little quicker. We kind of let them hang around, which was the only negative of the evening. Letting them hang around because we didn't finish as well as and make some free throws as well as we were capable of. But effort was there. Kids played hard, and we were able to stretch that out a little bit.
Looks like you guys are playing with a little bit of confidence now. Like I said, third win in the last 4 outings, and then playing a couple teams that you thought you matched up well against this week, Vicksburg and Hastings. When you have a confident team on the floor, can you see that from the get-go, and how exciting that? It
makes a huge difference for us when we go out and play with some calm confidence, and we've talked a lot about for a while going possessions without scoring and not minutes. And we've kind of turned the page and improved greatly on that. So we don't go with those long lulls like we have earlier. At least we haven't lately. And we've been playing much better basketball because of that. And our confidence has definitely grown with that.
We're looking forward to a big week for Harbor Creek coming up this week. You get Penfield at home on Tuesday. It's a fun game that people are looking forward to. And then Coldwater also at home later in the week.
Well, we just have one this week, which is interesting. Yep.
Week after that.
Yep.
But Penfield playing it on Tuesday at home. The way you played them the first time around with the phonetic style and used their pressure, it really got to Penfield. You have to believe that Penfield's going to be looking forward to that. Is that something you turn around, or are you just going to go? We're going to throw that out there again and see if Penfield can deal with it.
Well, it's how we play now. So it's just, we're going to throw, kind of like what we talked about last time with the kids, is it's a battle of styles. They want to slow it down and play a little bit more controlled pace, and we want to get this thing up and down. So there's going to be really no surprises. What they're going to do is what they do, and what we're going to do what we do, and hope that our pressure is successful in speeding them up and getting the kind of tempo and the kind of game that we'd like.
That first game, as I recall, it kind of all happened all at once early. A lot of turnovers there in the second quarter after kind of a back and forth first quarter and the second quarter, and that set the tone for the rest of them. And then when it's kind of going downhill like that, it's the kids kind of are hungry for more, it seems like, and that's what you've seen in the last maybe even since the last time you played Penfield. It's been that kind of style for you, like you mentioned, and that's a great way to add some momentum for a game and add some momentum for the season, because you can rely on that because it's all about hustle. Is that right?
Yeah, and like you said, when you see the bucket go in, we can play in a little more spurts now. There's a little more spurt ability for our team, along with some steady scoring as well. And it definitely, when the ball gets rolling and you get a few turnovers and you get a few good looks, you get some momentum and you get feeling good, and that's contagious.
You have, like you're saying, some guys that have stepped up in different places. Balance has been a big for you. When you have guys that can come from all over the place and score for you, that's a good feeling as a coach, or how's that been going for you?
I really, it's nice as a coach. We have all 5 of those guys that start are capable scorers, and we have. We could look at it like we have 7 starters with a couple of guys that can come off the bench too that are very capable scorers. So normally we have 7, 8, 9 guys who are in the scoring column for us, and whoever is going to lead us is kind of whoever's hot that evening, and whoever gets some part of that run. So it's nice to have that balance, because you can kind of count on that to be there. But it kind of gets tricky. Like early in the beginning of the year, what is a go-to? Who do we go to? And it's kind of nice now that that's kind of worked itself out a little amongst ourselves with the guys we got. So I think that is part of one of our strengths, is you can't just key on one guy. Dylan led us, and he came off the bench this week, and he had a big night on Monday, and he's capable of going for double digits and 20 on any given night, along with a lot of those other guys. So it's nice to see that as part of our identity.
Well, you have the one game this week. All the focus will be on the Penfield game on Tuesday with Friday night off. So Harbor Creek fans can get ready for that home game on Tuesday with the city rival coming in town. And We'll have a lot of fun talking about that game next week. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
We'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning here on WBCK 95.3 FM.
Coach's Corner on WBCK, brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now back to the show.
Maybe him and Durant are somewhere. Hey, we're back with our next Coach of the Morning here. We're here with Coach Wickman of the Lakeview Spartans. How's it going, Coach?
It's going well, Bill. I mean, after the weather we've had the last couple of days, man,
nice,
I thought it was springtime. But
you might want to talk a little bit about the weather, considering that you got a couple nail biters this week. Not a lot of fun talking about these games, but you had two really good games to play in, just coming on the short end of both. It's a hard week to swallow, but you had to like how you guys played in both games. Is that right?
Yeah, I thought we played well enough to win both games, and at the same time well enough to lose. It's an unfortunate, when you lose both of those really tight games that you had a chance to win. You wonder about the psyche of your team a little bit, but we came in yesterday to practice, and I don't know if people realize how hard it is to get kids to practice on a Friday after playing 2 games in a week, but because we're used to playing on Fridays. But we had a really, really good practice yesterday, so I was pleased.
The schedule makers didn't do you any favors. That's 2 really good teams you played in 1 week, and coming off a high of being Kalamazoo Central the week before. So playing a Mattawan team that had double-digit wins, you had a lead on them late and led 36-32 at halftime. Mattawan came back and beat you 64-63. Was that game kind of a buzzer situation there at the end, or how they kind of win that game?
Yeah, so we had the lead actually by 1 in the last 10 seconds or so, and did a really nice job. They had 3 different chances on inbounds plays, and we stopped all 3 of them. Well, 2 of them got stopped by timeouts, but so we did a great job there. And then on the third one, they took a kind of a fadeaway jump shot. Great shot for us. I mean, we did a really nice job. Unfortunately, we forgot to block out one of their kids, and he gets the rebound and puts it in and gets fouled. So he made the bucket, obviously, so they're up 1. And then he missed the free throw. We outletted the ball to LeBron, and he's dribbling up the court. Kid sticks his leg out, trips him, no call, game over. So it's a little tough to swallow especially when you look at it the next day on film, and it's clearly the kid stuck his leg out. And but officials are allowed to make mistakes too, just like I do as a coach and players do as players.
LeBron had 22 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds in that game. Malachi Bell had 12 points. A tough one to swallow, like you said there, playing a conference crossover game and losing to a real good team there. And then you come back and the schedule doesn't get much easier, and you're playing Portage Central, the leader in the SMAC West division over there, the first place team on that side of the conference. I played them tight throughout, 37-37 at the end of the third quarter. You fall short in that one, 55-53. Another end of the game scenario that you guys came in a little bit short. Why don't you walk us through that a little bit?
End of that game, we were up 5 with about 4 minutes to go, and we kind of we just made a lot of weird mistakes for us. Like, with a senior-laden team, you don't think you're going to make that many mistakes. We missed a box out on a free throw. We turned the ball over a couple times. Just had a couple things that didn't really bounce our way. And then, in the end, they made their free throws, I guess, down the stretch, and maybe we didn't. We missed a lot. I think we were 4 for 13 from the line that night. So that hurts too. But all in all, it sounds bad, but boy, did we play well for a long time in both of those games. And our kids like I said yesterday at practice, responded really well. So as much as it sounds like doom and gloom because we lost 2 games, I told the guys, we had a really tough practice yesterday and got after it. And at the end, I said to them, if we would have made 2 more baskets this week, we probably we might have taken the day off Friday, or we might have had a shooting and execution practice and not a lot of up and down and stuff. But, so it's basketball. I got a text from a friend last night. He said, that sucks that you lost those games, but it is what it is. Basketball's like that. And kind of puts it in perspective. It is, that's the game we choose to love. And, but I really think, I think we'll be better because of this week.
Well, Porter Central is a really good team. They've proven it throughout the whole year and really match up well with you guys. You guys similar teams there, and they're in the first place on that side of the division. And that was a tough back-to-back for you to play. LeBron had 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in that game. Jake Harchek had 12 points. Jackson Hardy got in the scoring column with 10 points. And you come out of that still 12-6 on the season, and still have a lot to play for going down to the end of the season here. But the key is that you want to kind of gain some momentum back and not let those losses linger.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Jackson Hardy. I wanted to mention him real quick. He's coming on strong for us. He had probably his best game all around of the year. And I think that's the second time I've said that now to him. Like, that's been your best game. So that's good because he's a junior who has a lot of potential and is really starting to feel. He's starting to be comfortable. You watch players develop, and it's kind of funny because early on you think they have a lot of potential and they're pretty good, but it takes some guys. It takes longer to figure things out than others, and he's finally figuring it out and feeling comfortable. And he's playing really well, so I'm glad for him. That will just help us down the stretch. And you're talking about the not lingering in the moment and moving forward and trying to continue to get better. I think we're going to go to Schoolcraft Tuesday, who I think's won 11 or 12 games in a row and is a very good team. And so we have to look at this as a glass half full and say, look, the district isn't going to get harder than what we're doing right now, right? And I'm not saying that to disparage anything or anyone, but we're playing some hard-nosed, tough teams right now, and I think it'll just pay off in the end.
Yeah, like you mentioned, another double-digit win coming, or a double-digit win team coming in. Excuse me, on the road at Schoolcraft, and then you get back in conference play and you play at Loy Norks, and then we look forward to districts after that a little bit. But getting that momentum back, getting some things going your way here towards the end of the season, no matter who you're playing, is big. Do you have a little scouting report on Schoolcraft so far?
No, I don't. I've got film that I'll get to today or tomorrow and look at that a little bit. But if you win 11 or 12 games in a row in a high school basketball season, you're doing something right. So. And we've played with them before, or played them before. We've played in the summer against them and stuff, and they're always well coached, very fundamental. I know they're very big, so we'll have our work cut out for us, trying to figure out how many cliches I can fit in this morning. But yeah, we'll have our work cut out for us on Tuesday, and then Friday's huge because probably a lot of people didn't recognize the fact that Norix beat K Central on Tuesday. So if we could go to Norix on Friday and win that game, we would be tied for first in the East Division. So it's another huge week for Sparty, and we're looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, playing on the road a couple of times, playing at Loy Norks, and you guys put yourself in that situation with your win over at K Central, and that made it so that you guys were within hailing distance of them, and that didn't let them get away. And then with K Central losing last night, that's big for you. And looking forward to playing Loy Norks. Talk about what happened with them the first time around when you played Loy Norks.
Well, if you remember, we actually played them twice in 1 week.
That's right.
We played them over break and beat them by 1 or 3, and then they came to our place and beat us by the same, about 1 or 3 or 4 or 5 or something. And so we've had 2 really good games with them. They've got a kid that Cedric, I think Hartley or something. But anyhow, one of the better players in our league. I mean, in the whole league, he's hands down. He's lightning in a bottle. He's hard to guard. He can shoot it from anywhere. He's quick. He's one of those guys that he just kind of puts them on his back and says, "Let's go." And they've been playing really well lately. So, again, Friday night, we got to get one at Schoolcraft and get back on the right side of the wins column, and then go down there, go over there Friday to Kalamazoo and see what we can do.
All right, big week for Sparty. Like we said, a third time against Loy Norrick, so it'll be fun for that game. And we'll have a lot to talk about next week. Coach Wickman comes on back. Thanks a lot for coming on.
All right.
Coach.
Thank you, Bill.
We'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning here on WBCK 95.3 FM.
Coach's Corner on 95.3 WBCK. Proudly brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Here's Coach's Corner.
Bill Broderick of the Enquirer back with our next Coach of the Morning here. We're with Coach Kimber of the St. Phil Fighting Tigers. How's it going, Coach?
Good morning, Bill.
St. Phil had a loaded week here. You started out the week playing Jackson Christian. St. Phil came away with a 63-33 win over a 9-9 Jackson Christian team. Jackson Diswick had 22 points, and Colton Myers had 14, with Lincoln Diswick at 13. And starting the week off on the right foot there with a double-digit win there, you had to feel pretty good about yourselves at that point.
Yeah, we felt really good after that win. We've after losing to Bellevue on the previous Friday, we've started to mix in some stuff for district play, and we're kind of utilize this last 5-6 games as just kind of a preview of it, and so we implemented our man-to-man defense, and it worked out really well.
33-point win there against Jackson Christian team that's played well itself at times. And what happened early? Did you get up on them early and then it kind of set the tone early in that one?
Yeah, we were up 22-5 after the first quarter. We had a really explosive first quarter offensively. Jackson, I want to say, knocked down 3 threes in the first quarter. Then we got some pretty easy backdoor plays. So it was a great offensive outing in the first quarter, and so we kind of set the tone. I think our press in the first quarter gave up 4 10-second calls, so that was a major factor there as well.
Yeah, when you can lean on your defense like that, it has to feel good as a coach there, seeing that come to, and it also feeds your offense. The guys start seeing that happen on defense, and then they get hungry, and then it's like a pack of wolves at that point. Is that what you saw a little bit last night? Against Jackson Christian?
Oh yeah, definitely. Our guys kind of we took advantage of the opportunities that we got early, and we executed perfectly on offense. And yeah, it was just a perfect night.
And you came back and you played a couple nights later against Mendon, a team that you beat the first time around, and then Mendon came in and then decided they were going to get a little revenge against you guys. Mendon is a 10-win team, and they knocked you off 57-50. Talk about how that was kind of a game you kind of thought maybe you could have had, and then kind of got away from there. Is that how it went?
Yeah. No, Mendon's a good team. They got a really good point guard. I can't think of his name right now, but they played really well, and we had, I think, 22 turnovers, so that was not well. But yeah, no, they just executed great late, and took advantage of it.
Lincoln Deswick had 16 points and Jackson had 12. So the game was it tight at halftime, and then they had the lead there, or did they take over till the fourth quarter? How'd that work?
We gave up 20 points in the fourth quarter, and that was a big issue.
That's not a good scouting report there. You don't want to do that too often. But the thing now is kind of bounce back there. Like you said, you're kind of get ready for some district action going forward, and you're going to see some teams that you might see in district play, and that's going to be one of them coming up. You're playing Battle Creek Academy earlier this week. Talk about how you guys are you're kind of balancing playing these regular season games, but also getting ready for the districts at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of the tough thing, just trying to balance the district opponents, and so trying to prepare for that is a big challenge, and so just getting the kids ready for March, if you will.
Battle Creek Academy is a smaller team. You probably match up well again size-wise that way against them. They've won double-digit wins themselves. they playing at their place, which is a real tiny gym there. That's a challenge in itself. Talk about playing that kind of team that's kind of new to the scene here in terms of MHSAA play. It's only the second year playing in the districts. And then Battle Creek Academy has to get going. Oh, they've won 5 games?
Yeah, something like that. 5 or 6 a game.
I think you're right. I was mistaking them with their girls team, I guess. But they are a small team. Don't have too many guys over 5'10", I think, and you match up well against them, and then you're going to play another team that's kind of struggling, Athens. So it's a week where you kind of have to focus on yourself, make sure you guys are focused on your game as opposed to not one of these underdogs kind of get up and bite you.
Yeah, we played Monday against Climax, Tuesday against Battle Creek Academy, and then Friday against Athens. So it's a busy week. We're going to use that as a like a March prep because, you're going to have a 3-game week at some point in the playoffs. And so having that is going to be a big plus getting ready. And, playing 2 out of 3 district opponents in the week is going to be a nice little prep.
Yeah, that slipped in there. I was looking at the overall schedule. I forgot you had that makeup game with the Climax Scots on Monday there. And a team that you look forward to playing the first time. You're going to play them twice still at the end of the year here. And it's a team that you kind of get up for because of the rivalry there. And that matchup itself is fun to look forward to, and it's something that you're focused on because it is a Monday game first, right?
Yeah. So playing on Monday is going to be a difficult challenge since we're not allowed to practice on Sunday. But playing Climax is always a rivalry. So playing them on a Monday after a long weekend, it's going to be tough, but still a Monday game it's a good game.
Climax has their big man, 6'7" Miles Shannon there, has had a real good season this year, double digits points and rebounds. They're real small after that. So the idea is to maybe make sure that he doesn't hurt you on the boards and then make some other people beat you. Is that what you're kind of looking forward to?
Yeah. Miles is a good player, so shutting him down is going to be a big key of ours.
Getting ready for a big week for St. Phil. 3 games during the week. Climax on Monday, Battle Creek Academy, and Athens all this week. Getting excited for talking about the Tigers, a big week as we come back next week. And then we get even closer to district play. Thanks for coming down, Coach.
Thanks, Bill.
We'll talk about more in our next Coach of the Morning here on WBCK 95.3 FM.
Coach's Corner on WBCK, brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now back to the show.
Bill Broderick of the Battle Creek Enquirer back here on Coach's Corner. Looks like Coach Crum is not going to make it down here this week. So we'll talk a little bit about Bearcats and what happened with them this week, and then we'll look forward to the rest of the week for the rest of the city teams here. Valkyrie Central faced that first place Portage Central team that's 13-3 on the year, and they're leading the West Division in the SMAC. Early in the week, and Portage Central took care of the Bearcats 66-24. Josh Harris had 10 points in that game for the Bearcats, and Valkyrie Central continues to struggle a little bit in conference play. They came back and they played a Thursday night game this week and played a Gull Lake team. Gull Lake was on a 6-game losing streak going to that game, but then they came into the field house and they beat Valkyrie Central 53-43. That gives the Blue Devils a season sweep over the Bearcats as Gull Lake improves to 7-11 on the year. Kai Watts had a career high 30 points for Gull Lake. Kai Watts is climbing the all-time scoring list at Gull Lake there. He's a couple of games from getting into the top 10 all-time at Gull Lake. And he's a player to watch there. He gives teams fits in terms of pressure at the guard spot. And Gull Lake uses a lot of pressure defense and can turn you over. And Valkyrie Central struggled against that again Thursday. Josh Harris had 12 points for the Bearcats there. Michael Mosley had 10. And Valkyrie Central is now 1-15 on the season. And with that lone win coming in over the Christmas break when they added a game during the Chuck Turner Classic. And we have Coach Crum coming in here as the last minute off the bench, and we're going to get him to pick up the microphone and chat a little bit. We were just talking about your week, Coach, about a tough week in terms of wins and losses there, but you played a really tough Portage Central team early in the week. Portage Central is leading the West Division there, and that was a challenge for your Bearcats. Is that right?
Real challenge, yep. They got a real good squad. I mean, typically from year to year, you know what to expect from them, and it wasn't any different. Real good, solid ball club.
Yeah, Gull Lake on Thursday, and Gull Lake came struggling a little bit, but they did have a win against you guys earlier in the year, and probably came in with a little confidence after that, and that kind of showed. Talk about how that game kind of played out. Is a 53-43 win for Gull Lake, but how was that game at halftime, and did it kind of get away at the second half, or how'd that kind of go?
I think it was pretty much they maintained the lead pretty much throughout the whole game. First half was, I think at halftime we were down by maybe about 7, something like that, and then we lose the game by 10. So it wasn't much difference between the first and the second half. We played a little better, but they played better than we did.
Right. Kai Watts had a career-high game for himself. He had 30 points. He's a rising prospect for Gull Lake. Talk about what you saw from him a little bit last night. He was a little bit tough to handle for you guys.
Yeah, pretty decent player, consistent. He makes his shots. He's good from the free throw line. And within their offense, they look to get him the ball in his spots, and he knocked down shots. Both times we played him, I think he pretty much scored 25, 30 points both games.
Josh Harris continues to be consistent for you, double-digit games in both these games this week for you. You can count on him in most every game that you play. The idea is that you're kind of looking for some other people to step up around him, and that's been a little bit of a challenge so far. Is that right?
Yeah. Josh has by far been the most consistent player for us on both ends, and we have not had any consistency or much consistency from any of the other guys.
Going out of conference as we look forward to next week, you're playing Everett early in the week. That's a rivalry game that goes way back to the Magic Johnson days, kind of when he used to play for Everett and played against Valkyrie Central. And when I got a chance to talk to Magic years ago, he mentioned how he always liked playing against Valkyrie Central. So that Everett Valkyrie Central game kind of goes back a long ways, and then you play at Stevensville Lakeshore later in the week. Talk about what you're getting ready for this week in terms of playing a team you don't see a ton, but in Everett. But it's always a nice matchup when those two teams kind of play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of history, a lot of tradition with that rivalry. They've got a pretty decent squad from what I know of them. But we're looking forward to playing them, and we know it's going to be an up-tempo type of game, which we like to think that's kind of fits into what we like to do. But we're going to have to take care of the ball. We're going to have to play defense and see where the chips fall.
And then you take that long trip over to Stevensville Lakeshore later in the week, getting on the bus and go on the road and playing them. Those SMAC games in the wintertime all the way over to Lake Michigan, that can be tough to get on the road. But is there something that you've learned over the years as a coach to kind of get your guys ready for those kind of situations there?
Still trying to figure it. No, I mean,
make sure there's enough snacks on the bus going over.
No, those trips. Most of the time, as coaches, we're hoping that they just take the opportunity for a nap and not have all the loud music and the hype going on. But it's a long trip, so you get a little of both. But we're going to just continue to try to make sure that we're ready to play and make progress. And season's winding down, so we have to take advantage of these last few games so that we can best prepare ourselves for the district.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to for you guys. There's only a couple weeks left in the season. You have a couple of holes in your schedule where you don't have a ton of games left. You only have 3 games left over the last couple of weeks. you have these 2 games this week, and then you come back and you have a single game against Lakeview in that final week.
We also have Harper.
Oh, you have a makeup game. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That fills the schedule a little bit. Getting Harper Creek and Lakeview will be fun for the Bearcats to kind of get up for both of those games. Is there something you're doing right now in terms of the season has kind of not gone the way you want it to, but you want to make something happen in the districts? Is this something you already talked about to the kids, that no matter what the record is in the regular season, that something can always happen in the postseason for you?
Oh, yeah. We try to make sure that they, that they're aware of that. We keep our focus a little smaller instead of looking too far down the road. We still are concentrating on trying to get better every day, every game, and if we can do that, then we feel that we'll be better equipped to compete when we get to the districts.
And the districts are going to come a little bit earlier than in past years, with the boys starting first this year and the girls starting second. So districts will start at the end of February, so it won't quite be March Madness yet. But
right.
We'll be looking forward to playing in the districts there, and it'll be exciting around here in terms of that situation. And a couple of games to get you ready for that, and that late in that week. That Harper Creek game, is that a makeup in the final week of the season? Or are you trying to get that?
Yes, it's a makeup from one of the snow days that we had. And
so you'll have that one in that week, and then you're still going to play a Lakeview and Harper Creek late in the year, and a game that the kids can get up for.
Right.
I guess that's a good thing for you, because no matter what your wins are, the boys are going to be ready to play against those teams no matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot to get them motivated for games against the teams that are here in the city.
Yep. And we'll look forward to that action there, and how that's going to come together. And we'll get going next week for another week of Coach's Corner when our coaches come on back. Thanks a lot, Coach, for coming on down here, Coach. We'll be back with that'll end the show this week, and we'll be back next week for another round of Coach's Corner. This has been Bill Broderick on WBCK 95.3 FM.